Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Squat Cobbler. I am Dr. Mike, Edificial Pagan on everything, and joining me as always.
Hi, everybody. This is Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram. And we would be most appreciative if you would consider subscribing to the Bog Panda YouTube channel, turning on those notifications, hitting the like button, leave us a comment or two. Check out our merchandise. That'd be nice too.
And tonight we're going to kind of talk about something that we touched on in a roundabout way before, which is driving games. I'm not a particularly huge fan of them. It didn't seem like, even though you're more open to them, you weren't a giant fan of them either.
Not huge, and I actually prefer more the jet ski motorcycle kind of configuration if you're going to be doing a directed vehicle kind of thing. But not a huge fan. But for a diversion, something different, they're okay.
Yeah, I'll play the occasional one here and there. Other than Road Rash, though, Road Rash, one of my all-time favorites. Other than that, though, I don't put a lot of stock into racing games and things like that. But there are people who are into those. Arcade One Up has put out a few units now, or they have a unit out. And then AtGames kind of threw their hat in the ring. I mean, they can't get the mini out, but they're working on their own driving kind of setup and stuff. Right in the middle of that, though, Microcenter, we've talked about before, they're the people behind, well, they're a retail store, but they're also the people behind the Atari Fight Stick, which is an excellent product. And they've been growing their whole home arcade line. They sell all kinds of products, so you can upgrade your joysticks and buttons and things like that. Also, cabinets and supplies to build your own cabinets and different licensed things like the Atari Fight Stick and things like that. So, really great store, really great selection of products, especially if you're a home arcade person. So, they kind of threw their hat into the ring and came out with a racing chair. Now, are you a game chair guy in general?
So, not really. I've I've had some in the past, and it's more just kind of a convenience thing, is to say, I don't have like a room solely dedicated to gaming where you could kind of situate this thing. It's going to eventually have to go away. It's going to have to be put away and rehooked up, and there seems to be a big hassle from there. I mean, some of the elements of where you can get kind of sometimes the rumble effect in the chair or the surround sound stuff. That's cool. It's a nice addition, but I by and large have never. It didn't seem like the juice was worth the squeeze for me much in terms of game share. So I've like I said, had never bought like a really high end one, but I've had some more mid range ones before, and they were okay. But after a little bit of use at the beginning, pretty quickly faded off. Say, I'm not going to mess pulling that back out and hooking it up. Where do you land on it?
Yeah, I've never gotten a gaming chair myself. I am in the market for a new office chair here in the studio, so I was thinking about a gaming chair. Just they look cool. So
Do they
there's
do?
really nothing else to it than that. But then I kind of came across this because we've been looking at all the racing stuff. So they have this is a little bit different. It's not an arcade setup. It is a gaming chair that's specifically designed for racing games. So this is more for your PC and stuff like that, where you're using sort of steering wheel attachments and things like that, or gas pedal. So it's an interesting concept because I feel like it's coming in obviously way under the price of Arcade One Up and probably way under the price of what AtGames is going to do. So it seems like for people who are into that, like this is a really cool alternative to that.
Yeah, and just a side note on the kind of, since you mentioned the mini and stuff, I did see another article where they're going to come out with a racing game mini as well. It'll be more like a clown car that you'll get into and do that, but it won't ship either. So still don't have it, do you?
What'd you say?
Still don't have it, do you? Your mini.
No, sir. See it back there.
Yeah. Well, we're not in that slow Christmas rush season when it's supposed to come to you. So
Christmas lull, as it's known.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it was interesting looking at this. Now, what did you think when you saw this gaming chair?
So I thought, if you were gonna go that route, price. I mean, it's not cheap, but it looked like it was good and sturdy. Is what some of our concerns we raised with both the kind of AtGames offering as they're going through and what you've seen with Arcade One Up when they create the sit down versions, like for Star Wars, and I think Outrun had a version of it as well. That for adults, it's a little awkward and it's just not a great form factor. So if you're going to be interacting with a game in a seated fashion, this looked like the way to go in terms of a really kind of sturdy setup. And then from what I've read on it and seen, the ability, pretty good universal extensibility, because as you mentioned, it's really the framework to do this gaming, but you've got to have the gaming system, whatever doing a racing game, steering wheel, pedals, all that good stuff. And to configure that and hook them on, it seemed to have the mounts set up really well, so that would be a fairly convenient thing for you to do.
Yeah, this seemed like a really good alternative to maybe the uncomfortable arcade one up options. And then, if the At Games one ever hits stores, if it, is what it looks like in the picture, something much larger and more cumbersome, this kind of seems like something that's in between, not cheap, but not crazy priced. So for the people who are into the racing games, this is definitely something worth checking out.
Yeah, I think, and seen a couple reviews on it and those types of things, and by and large, pretty positive about most of it. There are some things like it is designed to be somewhat back to my thing of you got to typically put it away. It has a certain level of collapsibility. The seat can fold down. You kind of slide it in that way. Unfortunately, what that resulted in is that for the lower back area, they had to kind of keep that free of foam so that the seat could actually fold down. And that may not, after prolonged play, that might start to get a little bit uncomfortable. But that was really, and maybe a little bit of a wobble if you're not on a hard floor, cement floor, or a wood floor. Both are solvable problems in terms of creating a little better back cushion for you or stabilizing the legs. But it does look, if you're particularly into racing games and doing that kind of driving simulation, this looks like a pretty sound piece of equipment that could really upgrade your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely something that's worth checking out. And even though it's probably not for me, I can attest that Microcenter products are excellent.
Excellent. So, if we have some racing gamers out there, folks that like to do it, would love to hear your opinion of this particular one, or if you think there's a better option or approach in general, or maybe kind of swing Mike and I to increase our interest in racing games in the future. So, we're
Yeah, I would
open.
definitely be interested if there's a racing game that we're missing out on that you guys want to recommend. I would definitely be interested in checking it out.
Definitely.
It's not going to change my mind, but I'm interested in checking it out.
And on that warm and inviting note, I think we'll wrap things up for this show. Thanks for listening or watching, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.